children. Today we are going to start our third chapter. Third chapter name is The Gift of Magi. This is one of the most beautiful story in our syllabus. It is written by O. Henry. The chapter name only, it's like little important, or it is something different from other chapters. Here Magi were the three wisest kings who came from Persia to visit the newborn baby Jesus, and they wanted to give some gift. They came from far away only to visit this baby to Bethlehem without expecting anything back from this baby, and they had given the most precious gift for the baby Jesus. In our story, we are seeing, or we are meeting, the writer O. Henry is introducing a couple named Della and Jim, a husband and wife who loved each other very much. They were not so rich. They live in a small flat. Husband Jim, he was not getting more salary from his job, and Della, she is trying her maximum to save one pennies. It's like rupees in our country. In India, it's like rupees. So she tried her maximum to save one pennies for a special reason. The reason was she wanted to buy a Christmas gift for her husband Jim. They both had something expensive thing or precious thing with them. Della also has, Jim also. This story is beginning with the Christmas Eve, one day before the Christmas. Like Christmas is 25th, then the Christmas Eve is 24th December. The story is beginning with 24th December. Until 24th December, Della tried her maximum to save money to buy a gift for Jim, but she was unable to save money. So at last she decided to sell her the most precious possession. And Jim also wanted to buy a gift for Della. Even he also was not able to keep money to buy the gift. So they both decided to sacrifice their most precious possession and buy a gift for their partner. Here they show a kind of love which we are ready to sacrifice our most precious possession for our loved one. That love we are seeing in this chapter. One of the most beautiful chapter, and it's like heart-touching chapter, I can say, because the way O. Henry written this story is very beautiful, very amazing to read. It is easy to understand. We are going through a lot of incidents, like happy incidents are there, sad moments are there, loud moments are there. So very nicely, very beautifully O. Henry has written this story. So this is all about the story, the love and sacrifice for each other. That Della and Jim is showing in this chapter. So let us start our chapter. $1.87. That was all, and 60 cents of it was in pennies. Pennies saved 1 and 2 at a time by bulldozing the grocer and the vegetable man and the butcher until one's cheeks burned with the silent imputation in parsimony that such close dealing implied. 3 times Della counted it, $1.87, and the next day would be Christmas. So I already told you the story is beginning on a Christmas Eve. Next day is the Christmas day. So Della is the heroine of our story. Until that day, by bulldozing the grocer and vegetable man. Bulldozing means like bargaining. We know that our ladies are like, they are bargaining in shops. Very like forcefully they are arguing for something. So here, by bargaining with the vegetable man, the grocer, butcher means like one man who sells flesh, like we can say it like mutton shop, like that. So here our Della, until 24th December, by bargaining, she could save only $1.87. This cents, pennies, like this some kind of currencies we are seeing in this chapter. This all foreign currencies like United Kingdom, Britain, those areas. So by bargaining with all these people, Della could save $1.87. So how she was bargaining, that also O. Henry is correctly marked here. Until one's cheeks burned with the silent imputation of parsimony. Like by bargaining, our cheeks will feel like burning. Until that, Della would bargain to save 1 or 2 rupees or like 1 or 2 pennies. By bargaining that way, she saved $1.87. And the next day would be Christmas. So already we saw that Della wanted to buy a gift for Jim. For that purpose, she is saving, bargaining and saving 1 rupee very carefully, even though she could save only $1.87. There was clearly nothing to do but flop down on the shabby little couch and howl. So Della did it, which instigates the moral reflection that life is made up of sobs, sniffles and smiles, with sniffles predominating. While the mistress of the home is gradually subsiding from the first stages to the second, take a look at the home. A furnished flat at $8 per week, it did not exactly beggar description, but it certainly had that word on the lookout for the Medicancy squad. So she didn't know what wanted to do, so full of what wanted to do, full of sadness, with the kind of like sad dull face with tears on her eyes, she sat on the couch and she like cried. She didn't know what to want to do. She wanted to buy a gift for her husband. What to want to do, don't know. So she is making her understand. In life it is common, no? Life is not only about happiness. Sometimes we will be happy. Sometimes like smiles will come. Sometimes weep. Sob means weeping. Cries will come, sniffles will come, tensions will come. So this is all common with life. Life is made up of all these things. She is trying to make her understand that situations. Then she is just revising her life only. Just she was living very nicely, but suddenly their life had changed. From the first stage they came to the second stage, and now their house is like a small flat. They are paying $8 per week just as a rent for that flat. It's not like a beggar description. What is beggar description? Beggar description is impossible to describe in words. So it's not like beggar description. It is impossible to describe the situation, from where they came to where. It was not that much easy to explain. So it is like a Medicancy squad. Medicancy squad means like beggars. Now their life became like very dull. It was like uncomfortable situations in their life were moving through an uncomfortable situation. In the vestibule below was a letter box into which no letter would go, and an electric button from which no mortal finger could coax a ring. Also appertaining thereunto was a card bearing the name Mr. James Dillingham Young. So they are telling O. Henry is describing their house, the flat where they live. Just in the entrance there was the letter box, but there was no letter. There was a ring, calling bell, but no one was ringing the bell. And beside that there was a here see appertaining thereunto. Appertaining thereunto means fixed to that, fixed to that bell. There was a card, like we are writing our family name on the card now. In the same way there was a card. On that card one name was there, Mr. James Dillingham Young. So Jim's full name is Mr. James Dillingham Young. So in that flat on the entrance there was a calling bell. No one was ringing the bell, or no one was able to ring the bell. And there was a letter box. No letter would go to that letter box. And there was a card named Mr. James Dillingham Young. These three things were there on the entrance of the flat. The Dillingham had been flung to the breeze during a former period of prosperity when its possessor was being paid $30 per week. Now, when the income was shrunk to $20, though they were thinking seriously of contracting to a modest and unassuming D. But whenever Mr. James Dillingham Young came home and reached his flat above, he was called Jim and greatly hugged by Mrs. James Dillingham Young, already introduced to you as Della, which is all very good. So this Jim and Della, their family was living in a happy state. Suddenly he was getting per week like $30 per week. Suddenly his salary reduced to $20 per week. So this Dillingham became like they are thinking about making it to D. It's like a funny like irony, like we can say. This Dillingham is such a big word. When it was Dillingham, they had enough money. Now their salary decreased, so Dillingham also should be contracted to D. Dillingham, it's a big name. It should come to a small letter D. So, but whatever the problems they have, even all these problems, through all these problems they are facing on, when Jim is coming to the home, when he is entering to his home, suddenly Della, Mrs. James Dillingham, which means Della, Jim's wife, Della, she was coming and giving a great hug and calling him Jim. That was very good. They are going through a difficult situations in life, even though the love what they had each other was very precious and very beautiful. Whenever he was coming to the home after finishing his work, Della was coming and hugging him and calling him Jim. So these all like flashback going through Della's mind. Della is thinking about money problems. She wanted to buy a gift for Jim. She had no enough money. When she thought all these things, these thoughts also about her home and how Jim comes, these all things came to Della's mind. Della finished her cry and attended to her cheeks with the powder rag. She stood by the window and looked out dully at a grey cat walking a grey fence in a grey backyard. Tomorrow would be Christmas Day, and she had only $1.87 with which to buy Jim a present. She had been saving every penny she could for months with this result. $20 a week doesn't go far. Expenses had been greater than she had calculated. They always are. Only $1.87 to buy a present for Jim, her Jim. Many a happy hour she had spent planning for something nice for him, something fine and rare and sterling, something just a little bit near to being worthy of the honor of being owned by Jim. So Della finished her, she was crying, no? She had no money to buy gift, she wasn't full of sad, full of dull, like with after finishing her cry, she just got up from there and she made her cheeks and face fine with the powder rag. Then she came and stood in front of the window. Then she looked at a cat. It was walking in the backyard. She looked at the cat. Then she thought like, tomorrow is Christmas Day. She had only $1.87. With that, she wanted to buy a gift for Jim. She knows that money is not enough. So she calculated this last 1.5 month, like not only 1.5 month, like few months. Since few months she is saving money to buy a gift for Jim. She planned months before only she wanted to buy a gift for Jim. With this plan, she could save this much only, $1.87. This is not enough to buy a gift for Jim. She knows that. Now, few hours she planned what I will buy, what I would buy for my husband. He's my Jim, I want to buy something gift for him. This is Christmas, on this Christmas day I want to give a gift for my husband. She spent hours and hours happily by thinking about buying a gift. But the reality is this money is not enough to buy a gift for Jim, because Jim has something very precious and expensive with him. That we will see in the coming paragraphs. So when she is buying a gift, it must be near to that. It should not be very much less. But she is buying a gift it must be near to the possession of Jim. That is her, like it is compulsory for her. So for that she is searching or like thinking what she would buy. There was a pier glass between the window of the room. Perhaps you have seen a pier glass in a $8 flat. A very thin and very agile person may, by observing his reflection in a rapid sequence of longitudinal strips, obtain a fairly accurate conception of his looks. Della, being slender, had mastered the art. In their flat, there was a mirror, pier glass. It was like a mirror. There was a mirror hanged on the wall. So in an $8 flat, we can see at least a mirror. Through that mirror, it was like a thin, like we can say horizontal mirror. It was like a lengthy mirror. So in that mirror, one thin and agile person, he can observe. If a person who is standing in front of that mirror, if he is thin and like a very slim person, he can observe his complete how he looks. He will get a correct idea by watching on that mirror. So Della is very thin and very beautiful. So she was very clear to see in that mirror. She looked at the mirror and she can understand completely, how she looks like, how she is looking, how beautiful, how fair she is. Everything she can get to know by looking at that mirror. Like that, one mirror was there in their home. Suddenly, she whipped from the window and stood before the glass. Her eyes were shining brilliantly, but her face had lost its color within 20 seconds. Rapidly, she pulled down her hair and let it fall to its full length. So she was looking at the mirror. So suddenly, she was looking to the window. We saw that one cat was walking in the backyard. She was looking at the cat and she was thinking all these things. Suddenly, she moved from the window and turned to the mirror. Then, while she looked at the mirror, her eyes was brilliantly shining. Suddenly, the brightness of her face gone away. Then what she did now, she just removed her hair buns and she made her hair to be like, let it fall to its full length, let it come down like that. She removed her hair buns and all, she made her hair free. Now we are going to see the most beautiful possessions what they had. Now there were two possessions of the James Dillingham Youngs in which they both took a mighty pride. One was Jim's gold watch that had been his father's and his grandfather's. The other was Della's hair. Had the Queen Sheba lived in the flat across the air shaft, Della would have let her hair hang out of the window some day to dry, just to depreciate Her Majesty's jewels and gifts. Had King Solomon had the janitor with all his treasures piled up in the basement, Jim would have pulled out his watch every time he passed, just to see him pluck at his beard from envy. So here we go to know what was the precious possessions they had. Della had the most precious possession, that was her hair, long, beautiful hair. And Jim had a watch, a gold watch, which was used by his grandfather and father. So in this, traditionally it came to his hand. So these two things, Della's beautiful hair and Jim's gold watch, these two things were the beautiful, most precious possessions they had. So here this Della's watch, Della's hair and Jim's watch is comparing with the Queen Sheba and King Solomon. If Queen Sheba, if she come to the air shaft like the window, or like the window, you can say like balcony. If she come to that place, Della, she would make her hair free and she would let her hair hang out in the window, like showing it is to keeping it to dry. If she would made her hair free, the Queen Sheba would feel jealous by looking at that hair. That much her hair was beautiful. And King Solomon, if he is coming out and keeping his all, like janitor means like security, door caretaker or doorkeeper we can say. If the King Solomon is coming out and being a doorkeeper there and keeping his all his treasures and wealth, we know that who was Queen Sheba and King Solomon. Queen Sheba came to visit King Solomon and given the most richest gift for Solomon, and Solomon was the wisest king, one of the richest and wisest king of Israel that we see in the Bible. So they were the most richest person, and everyone was feeling jealous on their possession. In front of them, if Della and Jim shown their possession, this Sheba and King Solomon would feel jealous. That much they were feeling proud about their possession. So Jim's possession was his gold watch, Della's possession was her hair. If Queen Sheba is watching Della's hair, she would feel jealous, and if King Solomon was watching Jim's watch, then he would feel jealous. And whenever Solomon is passing, Jim would take out his watch to make him jealous, like to make him envy. He would pluck his beard from envy. So that much Della and Jim were proud about their possession. So these 9 paragraphs only for today. It's little bit long chapter. There are about 45 paragraphs in this chapter. We would be finishing with 4 to 5 parts, 4 to 5 videos. So these 9 paragraphs for today. In this important thing what we have seen, one small description about their home and the most precious possession of Della and Jim. We will continue in the next video. Thank you.